Good morning, Math Marines. Mr. Friedline here on Tuesday morning, October the 12th, and we have a nice big table that we need to fill in for our homework tonight. Take a look at what the directions say. It says, complete the following table on a separate sheet of paper. You do not have to worry about proper formatting for this assignment. Simply recopy the table and show all your work. That's because I just want to see this table. I don't care about having the right answers in those little boxes on the right hand side, because you're going to recopy this table. You're going to have all the right answers in these little boxes right here. Now this is a 5 by 3 grid. That means that there are 15 total boxes right here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are filled in for you. You have 10 problems to do tonight. The goal is to take the fraction and turn it into a decimal and percent for the first row. For the second row, you start with a decimal and you need to convert that into a fraction and percent. The third row, you start with a percent, you need to convert it backwards to a decimal and a fraction, and so on and so forth. And then you'll have this entire thing filled in, and you'll be able to convert backwards and forwards with decimals, percents, fractions. This is our mastery level of understanding for fractions, decimals, and percents. Very important assignment. I'm going to do 0.8 as a decimal for you. So let's take a look at 0.8. I'm going to do this entire row, so I'm going to do the fraction and the percent. If I have 0.8, I know that I can turn this into a fraction by simply understanding that the 8 is in the tenths place. So I'll write this as 8 as a whole number, but I'll put it over the 10. I got my 8 right here as a decimal. I'm going to drop the decimal, write it as a whole number, over whatever place value it's in. So if it's in the tenths place, I write it over 10. So I have 8 over 10. And you would think, well, maybe that's good enough. But again, I got an even number, so I know I can at least divide by 2. Let's try that. Remember, I divide the top and the bottom. I can't just say divide by 2 because that would change the answer. But if I divide the top and the bottom, I'm not really changing anything. I go 8 divided by 2 and I get 4. And I go 10 divided by 2 and I get 5. 4/5. That's as small as I can get that fraction. So there we go. There's one of our boxes already done. You will have shown this work somewhere on your page, but 4/5 would go in that box. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm grading. Now, I'm going to go back to 0.8 because it's easy to convert a decimal into a percent. I don't want to go to 4/5 because that's just going to take too long. Converting a fraction into a percent, we saw, took a while. There's a bunch of different steps that we can take. We could maybe multiply the bottom and the top by 20 to make the denominator 100. We remember doing that. Or we could turn this back into a decimal and then move it over 2 places anyways. But guess what? We already have it as a decimal, so let's just keep it as a decimal. To make it a percent, we're going to multiply by 100 or simply move our decimal point 2 places to the right and put a decimal place and get rid of my old one. Now something's got to go here. If I don't have a line above this, then I know that the only thing that's going to be over here is a placeholder or a 0. So to finish this problem off, I would say, well, I don't need that right there because I don't care if I have 0 hundreds, but I do care that I have 8 tens, and I do care that I have 0 ones, and I do care about my little decimal point. And that's it. The only last thing I have to do is to make it a percent, put my little percent sign. I don't need that little decimal point after all. I can just say it's 80%. If you kept the decimal point there, I'm not going to be too upset about that. You just tell me that you have 80 and nothing else. It's the same thing as that. No worries. So you're going to do that for all of your problems here tonight. I did the second row for you. You do it with 12/24, 55%, 0.66, and 2/3. These two are going to look awfully similar. This is a repeating decimal though, so be very careful. Good luck tonight.